Hello guys, today I'm going to be doing my very first Sims 4 occult tier list. Now, I played Sims 4 for the longest possible time I can remember. I wanted to give my ultimate tier list guide for all of the occult Sims in The Sims 4. Starting with aliens from The Sims 4 Get to Work. As we all know, I think Sims 4 aliens are extremely outdated. They are fairly weak. I wouldn't say they are terrible. They're just, I mean, they are pretty cool. They do have a special urn, grave, and bassinet for children, the thing. And they also have a second form, which is their disguise, and they have their alien self, similar to werewolves. But aliens have no unique needs. They have no unique skill tree. They have literally zero things going for them. They do know a cool secret handshake that they can do with other aliens, but when are you actually going to do that? Something that's really stupid about aliens, in my opinion, is the fact that you actually have to build a rocket for them to go to 6am. That is fucking horseshit. I'm sorry to cuss so hard, but they are fucking aliens. They should be able to go there without building a rocket. Like, that is nonsense, and it's really, really awful. They do have some cool, unique powers. They do have a unique form, and I really like that. I think the highest possible rating I can give them is C. I'm sorry, they can't go any higher than C in my opinion. I'm so sorry for any alien lovers out there. It's just, they're not the best. Okay, I'm sorry. Next up, we have Ghost. Now, Ghost was not available in The Sims 4 right off the bat. They were introduced in a new update about a month or two into The Sims 4's lifespan. They added Ghost. And Ghost consist of, obviously Sims dying and they turn into Ghost. I mean, that's kind of, how it works. Ghosts are very interesting, as they are basically just dead Sims, okay? And they are the only life state or occult Sim that also combines with their other occult self. So if the werewolf dies, then they will have their werewolf abilities as well as their ghost abilities. And vice versa for vampires and aliens. Yeah, you get the point. Ghosts are very cool. There's a lot of new deaths in The Sims 4 at the time of recording this, so there's a lot of new ghost types. The most annoying one, I think, is Murphy Bed, because it's really frustrating. Yeah. But there's a lot of unique ways to die, and there's a lot of unique ghosts. Although some of them very far in between, there are a few ghost types that don't do anything special, but that's very rare. Ghost, I think ghosts deserve either B or A. I'm thinking either B or A. I give them A, since they're the only occult in the entire game that allows you to have a second one. And that is strictly because of that. If it wasn't for any other reason, I would straight up just give it a freaking B. Maybe even C. I don't know. Next up, we have mermaids. Now, my issue with mermaids is quite simple. First of all, they come with island living, and second of all, they just don't really do much. I mean, yeah, they do have a second form. I wish they had brought the thing back from Sims 3 where they had scales on their legs. I think that'd be really cool. They are in dire need of a rework, because they stink. They stink. They have stinky legs. I do not like them, okay? I mean, I don't hate them. Again, it's just another lackluster occult. I don't really enjoy using them. I don't really enjoy playing as a mermaid. I mean, sometimes I do it in my free time. The most annoying part about mermaids is the fact that child sim mermaids hygiene need goes down very fast. Like, you are happening to care for the hygiene need like every 4 or 5 hours. There is a cool detail if you have spa day, where if you put on a mask, they will stay hydrated for like 12 hours, and during that 12-hour time limit, they are completely their hydration does not go down at all for that time period. So it's really cool. I like that detail. I like that crossover, cross-pack ability. It's just, there's still lackluster. I mean, there's not really a lot I can go on here. I'm sorry, mermaids, but you are going in B. I'm sorry. I mean, mermaids are pretty cool. I do like the fact that they have a second form. I'm sorry. I can't put it any higher. Next up is Plant Sims. I'm sorry, guys, but Plant Sims is going in D. I'm sorry. Plant Sims, oh my god, Plant Sims and The Sims 4 are the absolute worst Plant Sims in the entire Sims games. I'm sorry, Plant Sims and The Sims 4 suck. I'm serious. They are absolute garbage. I'm sorry. Like, they have nothing going for them. They are absolute garbage. I'm sorry to say that, guys. I really am. But they just don't have anything going for them. And it makes me so sad to say that, because I think they just rushed them, in my opinion. Like, they don't have much at all. Unlike The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, you can't have, baby plant Sims. It's freaking annoying. I think that's really disappointing, especially that considering that is in the previous games prior to The Sims 4, and that is disappointing. Next up, we have servos. My number one issue of servos is they take so damn forever to fucking build, it's almost not worth it. So, I'll almost give it D just for how long it takes to build. But servos have just about everything you want different from a different human sim. They have a unique voice. They have... they're not even a human. They're literally a robot. And they have unique needs. They do have fun and social, which are human needs. But their unique needs are called charge and durability. And the charge kind of acts like the energy need, where they need to charge up for a little bit before, so that way they can go up about their business again. And their durability bar is more important, however, as they can actually be killed if their durability gets too low, and if they're not maintained for a certain amount of time. They will die by catastrophic meltdown, and once this happens, there is no going back. Once your servo has this going on, and if they are unmaintained for a certain amount of time, they will die. It is a pretty unique death, and I really love the music. It sucks that there's no actual servo ghost, though. Like, that just, it kind of does suck, if you know what I mean. Other than that, though, I think servos are pretty dang good. The only downside is without cheats, it takes forever to build one. So, with that being in mind, I think servos are really cool. If it didn't take so long to build them, I would put them in S, but since they take so long to build, I'm putting them in A. I think that's pretty fair. Because if they didn't take so long to build, I would put them in A or S. But since they take too long to build, I'm sorry, I have to put them in A. It takes way too long. Not to mention your Sims have to be robotic skill level 8. So it's you have to be so high, and it takes forever to actually increase that. But servos are pretty cool. I like their abilities. I like the fact that their eye color changes depending on their emotion, so that's pretty cool as well. But it's just, it just takes forever to build them. Next up, we have skeletons from Jungle Adventure. Now, skeletons, they're kind of like plant sims in a way that they're just, they're just kind of undone. But having a literal skeleton in the game just reminds me of, like, Goonies or something. I don't know why. Skeletons, I think, are just slightly better than plant sims. With that being said, I'm putting them in the C. Skeletons you don't actually control, and there's some things when you go into the temple and the tome. Sometimes if your sim is very unlucky, they can be cursed and be turned into a skeleton for a certain amount of time, and that's actually really unique. I didn't even know that. You can also make skeletons die by telling them a skeleton joke 3 times, by learning it from them, and if you do it 3 times in a row, then they die. It's kind of funny. But you can't really do much as a skeleton. Skeletons have no unique needs. It's just eh. One thing I forgot to mention about servos is the fact they're kind of like other occult sims where you level them up, but it takes forever. Like, it takes literally forever. But they're still pretty good, in my opinion. That's why I put them in A. Now, next up, spellcasters. Oh my god, spellcasters. You know what spellcasters is going. I'm sorry, spellcasters is immediate S. spellcasters have so much going for them. They have their spellcaster perks. They have their spellcasting book, which is like, the second thing that no other special occult type has. That being werewolves and aliens, not werewolves and aliens. Ugh, werewolves and vampires. Blah. I can't even talk right now. Spellcasters obviously came with realm of magic. And to become one is very easy. All you have to do is go to a magical sage, which is really hard to miss because they have these magical emblems that always float above their head, kind of like the Sims Plum Bob does. But you just go to one of these magical sages. You ask them a question, and then you collect these 7 modes around the magic realm. And once you do that, you turn in the modes, and then the spellcaster will cast a spell on your sim to turn them into a spellcaster. And this process is instant. Once it happens, your sim is a spellcaster, and your journey to becoming a masterful spellcaster begins. So, spellcasters are also one of few to have a unique death, and that is spellcaster overload. If you've seen from my Sims 4 deaths video, then you would know what this death is. Basically, Sims 4 spellcasters have a charge meter that increases with every spell they cast, or with whatever they're doing, such as practicing magic, experimenting on the cauldron, etc. Any magical activity will increase this charge bar, and if it gets too high, they can have a spellcaster overload, and they will have overload the first time, and they don't die. The second time is more than likely for them to die because they get a special moodlet that tells them that, oh, they overloaded, so you don't want them to actually die. Oh, by the way, I put skeletons up by mistake. Nope, not having that. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? You seriously, think you want to put, freaking spellcasters below S? Hell no. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just not happening. Spellcasters also have not temperaments, that's werewolves. Curses, which these can be endured by doing a bunch of things. Losing in a duel, overloading too many times, going to the overcharged state too many times, etc., etc. Anything bad that happens will make your spellcaster get a curse. And it is very common, especially if you do these things repeatedly. It's very, very common for this to happen, so do be wary of that. I love spellcasters, alright? And I may be a bit biased, but I do love spellcasters. Vampires is also another media... Vampires is also another media S. I'm sorry. Vampires are just... I think they're underrated. I'm sorry. The one problem with vampires is Flad coming to my house and biting on my Sims at night, but that's a problem with everybody's server. I'm sorry about that, but that's a problem with everybody, okay? Not my fault. At least Greg is more generous. But Flad, not so much. If you don't know who Flad is, he's the main boss vampire that lives in Forgotten Hollow, and he will occasionally come to your house and suck on your Sim's blood, and it's, it is really gross, really creepy, and also questions to why we don't have burglars in the game. We do have something similar called snoopers from The Sims for Rent, but, I mean, it just don't make any sense. Why are they not called burglars? They should be called burglars. If we have vampires in the game, I just don't understand why we don't have burglars. Vampires, people say the reasoning why we don't have burglars is because of people being scared. And we have vampires in the game. It doesn't make any sense, guys. It really doesn't. It makes zero sense. We also have werewolves, which they are not too scary, but I mean, they are a little scary. Not gonna lie. They are. I don't even know what to say. I think they're just. They're really cool. I like them. But vampires. They have the most ultra needs in the entire game. They have thirst instead of hunger. They have vampire energy than regular energy, which is the big purple need bar above their other 4 needs. And it's cool. And they also don't need to piss or shit because they're vampires, and vampires don't need to piss or shit. So say goodbye to bladder if your sim is a vampire. And vampires are the second and last they're the only two occult sims in the entire game that actually has a special death. And I think you already guessed what that is. And that is, duh, obviously, sunlight. If your vampire is in the sun for too long, and if they don't get inside or don't have an umbrella, if you have Sims 4 seasons, they won't immediately die. Their vampire energy plummets, and if it gets to 0 and they don't get inside in time, they will die by the sunlight. I repeat, do not get all 3 levels of the thin skin weakness. This is a fucking death wish. This will kill your vampire in a literal second. I wouldn't even say it's a second. Like, it's like a half a second. I've tested this like 5 times. If they have all 3 levels of thin skinned, don't go outside unless it's nighttime. Or unless you have a death wish. I literally tested this once. The second that my vampire went outside, he died. So, yeah. Unless it's nighttime, and if you have all 3 levels of this, don't go outside. Because your vampire just dies instantly. Vampires also have weaknesses that you do have to get when you get strengths as well, or vampire powers. As you rank up, you have to get weaknesses which inflict. And as I was just saying with thin skinned is one of those weaknesses that was what I was just mentioning. That you have to take depending on what you get. So, depending on what you get, you have to take the corresponding weakness or power depending on the weakness that you got. So, yeah. I think vampires are good. I like them. The one annoying thing about vampires, though, is Flad. I hate Flad so much. If you want to turn your sim into a vampire, you can either go to Flad's house, become friends with him, and ask him to turn you, and then it'll be like a 3-day transformation, and your sim will be then a fully fledged vampire. Or from straight out of cast, you can just make a vampire out of cast. But why would you want to do that? Just why? And I don't guess there's really anything else to talk about vampires. And last but certainly not least, and is the newest occult to The Sims 4, and that is werewolves. Now, guys, do I really need to say anything about werewolves? Werewolves is an instant S. I would say it's even, like, werewolves are the top, okay? I don't even know why this is a surprise for you guys. Like, this should not be a surprise for you guys at all. I think werewolves were just... I think they were meant to be added to the game because they are just so darn good. The customization with werewolves is insane. You can do so much with werewolves. Like, there's like a few different things that you can paint on. That being cats, dogs, horses, and werewolves. And that's insane. That's only 4 things out of like... Oh my god. My phone turned off. Hopefully it didn't affect the video. I think vampires is slightly better than spellcasters, by the way. I didn't want to say anything, but there you go. But werewolves just have so much. Like, they have, like, their fury meter, which works similar to spellcaster charge meter, where it fills up over time, and when it does, your werewolf becomes more animalistic and will do more animalistic behaviors. If it reaches max, they go on a rampage, and during this rampaging moment, they can't do really anything besides scare sims and break shit, and they can't really do anything. All they can do is break shit, scare the living hell out of sims, and yeah, just about anything. Now the rampage will eventually be over with, and their fury is reset to 0. Now, this fury meter is also increased faster depending on your temperaments, depending on certain conditions. For example, like the full moon. During the full moon, if your werewolf doesn't have the lunar resistance ability, their fury will increase drastically and will go on a rampage within seconds. So to be able to follow that, I think the only thing about werewolves that I have a gripe about is the fact that they have no unique deaths. I think that's part of the reason why werewolves are just kind of I mean, werewolves are kind of untalked about because of that, and I think that's one reason why people don't like werewolves that much, because vampires and spellcasters do have unique deaths, but werewolves don't. I think part of the reason why werewolves don't have the unique deaths is because They, let's just say, like, their perks and their abilities and stuff is what cost them a lot of time. So that's why they didn't add a unique depth for them. And I guess that's understandable. I think the customization though for werewolves is just splendid. There is so much you can do. There's also one thing I want to talk about, and I made this mistake literally 5 minutes ago into the video, roughly, where werewolves have temperaments, and these affect your fury. There are red ones and blue ones. Red ones increase your fury and decrease a certain need or specific need, depending on what it is. The blue ones do the exact opposite and decay fury need, or in fury increase, and they decay need decrease as well. So, Bark of the Wolf, which is the blue one, for example, will decrease fury increase, and they will also decrease your social need decay. So, yeah, that is the best example I can give you. Big Bad Wolf is another example that I really like to mess around with, and it also gives you a Three Little Piggies reference, which is really nice. Occasionally, werewolf gets mad, and if they're in the angry emotion, their fury increases faster. And occasionally, they will want to fight because they get too angry. And I like that about the werewolves. Like, they're just super cool. I don't know who would hate werewolves. And unlike Flad, Greg is really nice. If you don't know who Greg is a lone werewolf out by the lake, which is Lundvik Wake, which is, did I say wake? Lundvik Lake, which is actually his name. Actually, his full name is Gregorius Lundvik. So it's actually Gregorius, but short for Greg, basically. And yeah, I think it's time to end this video, because if I don't end this video, I'm going to lose my voice. I've been talking like nonstop throughout this video. Like, I need to stop. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you agree with this list, let me know in the video or in the comment section below. And until next time, bye.